As President-elect Trump and Republicans prepare to take over the White House, Democrats are asking themselves what went wrong. The party suffered losses up and down the ticket this week. Across the country, one Democratic strategist had to reach way back last night on Special Report to find a time in history when his party was in such disarray.
The Democratic Party is at its worst point since Ulysses S. Grant. It didn't matter who you were Tuesday night, what type of Democrat. If you were a populist, like Russ Feingold in Wisconsin, if you were a centrist, like Murphy of Florida, you lost. So all wings of the party have some soul-searching to do.
And here for some soul-searching is Al Mater. He's a Democratic strategist and served on the Clinton campaign national finance team. Sir, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it on this beautiful Saturday.
Great to be here.
You know, for so long we have been talking and dissecting the autopsy report that Republican leaders gave, excuse the sirens, of course, in the background, in 2012. Were we misplaced in that, in our observations there? Should we have been focused on the Democratic Party at that time?
I think that's a great question, Elizabeth. And the Democrats, I think, made a failure as well in not realizing that their broad coalitions in 2008 and 2012 were in part because of the candidate at the top of the ticket. President Obama was able to bring so many people to the polls, and lost in the fact that he was so successful is that a normal candidate, Hillary Clinton, Mike Dukakis, other Democrats who have run nationally haven't ever been able to bring that coalition to the polls. And if you look at what happened in Wisconsin, where there are 10 counties at least where Tammy Baldwin won, Barack Obama won, and Donald Trump won, that indicates that some of those Obama coalition people didn't vote for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, we certainly saw the maps from 2008 and 2012, and then a lot of the blue we saw turn red this year. I do want to ask you, because we saw an op-ed penned by Debbie Dingell. From Michigan, obviously. She wrote, in part, I predicted that Hillary Clinton was in trouble in Michigan during the Democratic primary. I observed that Donald Trump could win the Republican nomination for president. She went on to reference a number of local chambers of Congress, union halls, a lot of conversations that she was having with voters. Are there situations such as Debbie Dingell's where there were people who were standing up and saying, listen, I'm seeing some red flags here. Come to my state. Come talk to these voters. They're really undecided.
I think to some degree, yes. I also think to some degree the polling was off. I think the Clinton campaign did an incredible job running the campaign, and their analysis looked like they were poised for victory. So it's easy to look back and say they screwed this up, they screwed that up, and perhaps the push for diversity, inclusion, identity politics didn't appeal to some of the folks in the Rust Belt, in Debbie Dingell's district, in those union halls, those former Reagan Democrats. But it's hard to say that they blew it by not realizing that, because the polling in Michigan predicted an easy Clinton victory.
Yeah, we've been talking about that polling a lot. I want to look forward with you, because that's what we do. We look forward. In 2 years, Democrats will be defending dozens of seats in the Senate. So who is at the helm? Where is the leadership in the Democratic Party looking forward? Because there's still vulnerabilities.
Well, I'm glad that the choice of the DNC is not going to be until next year, because the one thing we should not do is rush to judgment and decide this is the solution. Keith Ellison's put his name in the hat, but so have so many other people. I know that Jason Kander's interested in the job. That would be great. He appeals to the disaffected white voters in places like Missouri, where we didn't do well at the national level. I also like the idea of Howard Dean. He's someone who understands you have to build a party from the ground up.
But I'm not sure he's new.
That's the problem. But what he talks about is we need to build the party from the ground up across all 50 states. That's something that, unfortunately, President Obama perhaps didn't do as well as we would have liked over his term.
But a lot of those voters, if you look at this election, I mean, they're spoken for. They made their voices heard. Are you going to be able to get them back?
It's not easy. And, you know, one thing we need to do is look at areas we did very well. So we did very well. We exceeded expectations in the Latino vote. That can't be a one-off. So that's why somebody like Tom Perez is an interesting pick. The 18 elections, which you alluded to a second ago, are very difficult for us in this regard, because it's most red state senators are up for the Democrats, and so picking a very liberal progressive to run the party could be difficult for them to defend.
Sure. Well, I wish we had more time. Al Mater, thank you so much. It's really fascinating. We appreciate you looking forward for it.
Nice to be with you.
Thank you.